An old Igbo and Yoruba African proverb says, "It takes a village to raise a child." The saying has been a staple in the Black community for years. It illustrates the importance African cultures has on family and community. It takes an entire community to raise children. Some kids today are lonely, stressed out, isolated, and lack some of the social skills and social emotional intelligence older generations obtained from growing with family, extended family, and other community supports. Kids don't come with instruction manuals. Because every child is different, having a strong support system that includes experienced elders who can offer support and guidance is important. A good village can provide children with the tools and skills they need. It takes a village to raise a child is a subtle, unspoken assumption in our gospel today. In Luke's account of the first time Jesus entered the temple in Jerusalem. As Luke tells the story, he depicts Joseph, Mary, and all of Israel as part of the scene when Jesus first entered what he would later call his Father's house. Although Luke is careful to insist that the Holy Family went to fulfill the law, 5 times he declared the parents of Jesus conformed to the ritual prescriptions of the law. They observed the religious requirements of purification and redemption of the firstborn as prescribed in Leviticus and Exodus. The first ritual requirement sprang from the belief that the life power within blood was sacred and belonged to God. Because of the mysterious nature of its power, it was to be kept separate from the secular activities of life. When separation was not possible, as in childbirth, the people and the objects that came in contact with the blood, in this case Mary, had to be purified. It is obvious why birth and death are surrounded with many purification regulations. The second ritual requirement was a way of reclaiming the firstborn male child, who they believed really belonged to God. Buying back the child was a way of acknowledging God's initial claim. The usual price was a lamb and a turtle dove or young pigeon. If the couple was too poor to afford a lamb, as Jesus' parents were, a second pigeon could be substituted for the lamb. Although Luke is careful to insist that the family went to fulfill the law, as soon as they arrived, their ritual reasons for being there were sidelined as the chosen people of Israel came to the fore in the guise of 2 elders. Just as Elizabeth and Zechariah, John the Baptist's parents, had symbolized Sarah and Abraham, Anna and Simeon recalled the story of Hannah, who brought her son Samuel to Eli in the temple where holy women watched the scene. These details situate the infant Jesus in the center of the history of his own people. The village that produced and raised Jesus stretches back 2,000 years to God's covenant with Abraham. Jesus belongs to the chosen people by law, by heritage, and by recapitulating their history in himself. There's a unique beauty and important gospel theme depicted by the fact that while Jesus' entry into the temple symbolized his membership in the people of God, the individuals who recognized and welcomed him were simple elders. The temple would have been swarming with ordinary folk like Anna and Simeon, along with authorities like scribes, Pharisees, priests, and other officials. In the midst of all of them, it was Simeon, a man with no titles but a sterling reputation, who as he held the child somehow beheld everything he had ever hoped for. With his predictions about Jesus, Luke allowed Simeon to foreshadow the rest of the gospel story. Then came Anna, the old 84-year-old widow who spent her life in prayer. While Simeon prayed in thanksgiving and spoke to Mary and Joseph, Anna took on the role of evangelist, the first evangelist, announcing Jesus' presence to all who were awaiting redemption. When we envision all that happens in this story, we begin to realize that the Feast of the Holy Family is really not simply about a nuclear family of two parents and an only child, but a celebration of human community. This story and its symbolism introduce us to a web of relationships that grows exponentially as each of the original characters comes in touch with others who spread the word to their relations and on from age to age. Our communities are particularly important as we celebrate the family on this Sunday after Christmas. Many families are basking in Christmas memories and enjoying the gifts they received just a few days ago. At the same time, a great number of our people did not celebrate the season with an intact nuclear or extended family. For many, the holidays highlight the hurts of broken marriages, family feuds, or the loss of loved ones. If Christmas was hard for them, the Feast of the Holy Family can feel like a day of unnecessarily rubbing salt in their wounds. In order to make this feast more accessible to all, we might take our cue from Luke and celebrate it as a feast of our ever-expanding community of loving relationships. With that perspective, we can enjoy Sirach's wisdom about respecting parents as a reminder to be grateful for all we have received from our elders, parents and extended family, the pillars of the parish, retired religious women and men, and our ancestors in faith. The letter to the Colossians offers a meditation about to build up our community. The key idea is to allow love to be the bond of perfection among us. That does not mean that we will be perfect, but that our bonds of love will outweigh the imperfections that tear a community apart when we give them too much importance. The Feast of the Holy Family certainly celebrates families. On a larger scale, it invites us to cherish and develop our ability to participate in communities of love. We are created for God in the image of the Holy Trinity, whom we know as a constantly expanding, all-encompassing community of love. Like Jesus, we all have the ability to enter into and form the communities that make us more human and more godlike. The family we really celebrate today is the whole holy family of humankind, bound together across the ages by the God who loves us into life, now and forever. Amen.